We begin with a lovely young girl named Sameera passing the time at the office late at night while waiting for someone. She sends him a few messages, but he is not responding. Finally, she emerged from the office. At that time, we discover that someone is secretly photographing and following her. Sameera immediately went to the hospital to meet her mother, who was in a coma. Doctor approaches Sameera as she exits the hospital room to inform her there is no chance of her recovering. However, Sameera insists on continuing her treatment and departs. When Sameera reached home, she did it to reserve parking for her. Sam gratefully thanks him for his generosity, and Vivek then assists her in getting to her apartment by carrying her belongings. Vivek then returns to his residence, where he discovers his grandma looking for documents. He asks her to sit down so he may give her medicine and begs her to look after her health. Vivek enters his room and copies Sameera's photos. Vivek is not as noble as he appears to be. In fact, he is a stalker. Vivek's parents live in the United States and want him to attend New York State University for further education. The next morning, Sameera's neighbor Rohan comes to her apartment with a plumber to fix the water leakage issue. Sam greets them and shows them the leakage spot. She then excuses herself by claiming she has some work and leaves. Meanwhile, Sam receives a call from Om, her boyfriend, a famous film star, but she does not answer since she is upset with him for not committing to her. Sam then goes to the office to join the meeting. Because of creative differences, Sam gets into an argument with new CEO Nandini during the meeting. Finally, Nandini abruptly stated that at the end of the year, she only desired profit. On the other hand, Vivek goes to a mobile shop to have Sam's phone repaired. Rather than fixing it, they destroyed it. When Vivek tried to dispute with him, he behaved rudely and ordered him to leave the shop immediately. Sam is already having an awful day. After the meeting, she enters her office and is shocked to see Om's assistant there. He informs her that Om wishes to see her. She initially declines to meet but quickly changes her mind and agrees to meet Om. As soon as Sam arrives at the shooting location, Vivek stalks her and starts taking pictures of her. Sam asks him directly if he has discussed divorce with his wife. Om claims that his picture is about to be released and that he can't afford a scandal right now, but that he will divorce his wife after the film is released. Sam expresses her inability to wait any longer. However, Om claims he loves her madly and convinces her. That evening, Vivek's father shouted at him for failing to submit his application for university admission. At that moment, Vivek notices Sam's automobile entering the building through the window. He quickly makes an excuse and goes to his room to check on her. After witnessing Om with Sameera, he becomes envious of him. That night, Vivek taught the shopkeeper a lesson by putting his name in the most wanted criminal list database. He also calls the police to arrest him. The following morning, while Vivek waits in front of his store, the police release him due to a misunderstanding and wrongfully arrest him. Vivek threatened that he would face more trouble if he didn't give him a new phone. The shop owner gets scared and obliges to his request. That evening, Vivek arrives at Sameera's birthday celebration and presents her with an iPhone as a birthday present. Sam hugs him, and he adores hugging her. Rohan also appears to wish her a happy birthday and give her her favorite sweets. Sam is startled at how he is aware of it. Rohan claims it was a fortunate guess. While everyone else is enjoying themselves at the party, Sameera's gaze remains fixed on Om, who hasn't yet arrived. She tried contacting him several times, but he didn't answer because he was having fun with someone else. Om sent her a wonderful gift instead of attending her birthday celebration. Sam makes the decision to enjoy herself on her special day rather than destroy it. Following the party, Vivek assists her in cleaning her home while Sameera collapses on the couch due to intoxication. Sameera abruptly breaks down in tears because of Om's maltreatment. Vivek tries to comfort her, but they get close and end up sleeping together. The next day, Sam wakes up and finds Vivek sleeping beside her. While she hadn't come out of that trauma, Om arrived at her apartment and knocked on the door. Sam is terrified of how to handle this scenario. As a result, she does not answer the door, and Om departs. After that, she asks Vivek to leave immediately because she has to go to the office. Due to the incident from last night, Sameera is still confused at work. Nandini yelled at her to concentrate on her work. Meanwhile, Vivek comes to her office with lunch and overhears the CEO insulting Sam. Vivek dislikes it since he is very passionate about Sam. He then unexpectedly enters the boardroom and requests that everyone leave because it is lunchtime. She becomes afraid when she sees him acting in this manner. Sam quickly approaches him and instructs him to get out of there right now. That evening, Vivek exacted revenge on Sam's employer by hacking into the company's database and exposing sensitive information, causing the company's stock to plummet during morning trading hours. When Sam gets to work, her CEO tells her there will be an investigation into this situation and asks her to cooperate with the IT department. Sam consents to follow her directions. After that, Vivek called her to explain that he had done it to punish her boss for messing with his beloved Sam. She is shocked to learn this and requests that he meet her at a coffee shop immediately. They get together at a coffee shop. Sam questioned him on why he did it. Vivek states that he is a hacker and does it for her because he is madly in love with her. Sam says we are nothing more than pals. Vivek reminded her that we were more than just friends on her birthday night. Sam stated it was a terrible mistake and urged him to forget it. However, Vivek grew irrational and refused to listen to anything, escalating the conflict. Finally, she smacks him and warns him to stay away from her before leaving. That was very embarrassing, and Vivek became agitated. Sam overlooked the fact that he is a psychopath who seeks revenge. That night, he broke into her apartment while she was sleeping, installing spy cameras everywhere and tampering with her phone and laptop. The following morning, he rented an abandoned gas station to set up his surveillance equipment and monitor her every move. As she enters the office, her employer accuses her of leaking the information. Sam is taken aback and denies her allegations. Upon hearing this, the IT executive showed her she was the one who sent emails to the media. As a result, her boss fired her immediately. She gathers her belongings and embarrassingly departs the office while everyone stares at her like she's evil. That evening, when she is resting on the couch out in the car while parking, due to heavy stress, Rohan quickly arrives to help her and tucks her into bed. On the other hand, Vivek watches the entire incident from his den. The next morning, Sam told Om everything that happened on his birthday night. Sam further says Vivek sees their one-night encounter as a sign of love, and he is vengeful since she rejected him. Om assures her that he will manage him because he is well connected with powerful individuals. Om informs her that he is going on a film shoot to Goa for a few days and invites her to accompany him because it will cheer her up. Sam concurs. While they were having a wonderful time, Vivek was becoming more agitated. As a result, Vivek leaks their sensational images and videos to the media. As they arrived back at the airport, the media surrounded them and bombarded them with questions. Instead of responding to the question, Om abandons her with the media and escapes. After that, Sameera spotted Om's press conference as she approached the hospital lobby. Om claimed that he only met her on the flight and had no idea what her name was. Om's words crushed Sam's heart. Vivek welcomes her, sitting beside her mother's hospital bed, and Sam is surprised to see him. Vivek enlightened that her so-called lover dumped her because he was only interested in using her. Vivek further says that he initially intended for her to come to him willingly, but the circumstances have changed because your life has been screwed up and hijacked. He has complete control over her life. Sam declares that she will reclaim control of her life. Vivek responds, looking forward to it, and departs. Sam's world is turned upside down when her mother dies. Om shows up Sameera's mother's funeral and attempts to console her. Nonetheless, Sameera was already infuriated by him, so she humiliated him and told him not to show his face again. On the other hand, Vivek is overjoyed that Sameera has refused to reconcile with him. Later, cops arrest Vivek at his residence and transport him to the police station. Vivek understood at that point that Sam and Rohan were behind this because she had filed a complaint against him. While interrogating him, the officer slaps and warns him to confess to avoid being beaten up. After giving him some time to think about his offer, the cop steps outside to smoke. Meanwhile, Vivek finds a way to access the officer's phone, quickly hacks it, and obtains information about him. When the officer returns, Vivek threatens to expose his filthy secrets. The police officer takes the threat seriously and quickly realizes he is not dealing with an ordinary criminal but a hardened criminal. As a result, he immediately releases him. Sam does it in an effort to get rid of Vivek, but as a consequence, Vivek posts images of herself on Facebook and Instagram, claiming that she is broken and in need of money. She attempted to erase it to prevent additional humiliation, but was unsuccessful because her accounts had been compromised. Rohan has lost his mind. In order to regain Sam's social account credentials, he goes right to his house and begins to assault him. Meanwhile, Sam arrives on time and separates them. On the other hand, Vivek takes great pleasure in driving both of them crazy. When Vivek's grandmother asks about the incident, Vivek calls them insane and foolish. The following morning, they contacted a cybersecurity specialist to close Vivek's chapter permanently. That clever champion believes he can solve the problem in a few minutes. But he has no idea Vivek is significantly brighter than him. While the expert is attempting to locate the bug, Vivek comes on the screen and tells him that if he does not leave immediately, $10,000 will be withdrawn from his bank account every 2 minutes. When the initial transaction occurs, the cybersecurity expert becomes terrified and flees. Due to overwhelming stress, Sam claims she can't stand it any longer and flees the house. While running, she gets frightened when she looks at every camera on the street, convinced that he is monitoring and controlling her. Vivek suddenly runs into her and reminds her that he feels sorry for her because of her circumstances, and doesn't want to make her his girlfriend anymore. Instead, he will exploit her for fun the same way Om did. Vivek further says he will keep ruining her life until she surrenders to his desires. Sameera had had enough and finally decided to take down Vivek. She devises a scheme with Rohan to dig out dirt on Vivek and will use it against him like he did to her. The next day, they began with Vivek's maid since she was carrying an expensive purse that she couldn't afford as a maid. So they followed her, and it turned out she wasn't a maid. Instead, she is the owner of a boutique, and Vivek is blackmailing her because he knows secrets about her. And she is not the only victim, there are others as well. They then visited his former college, where they learned about a girl named Sheetal, who had been the target of his blackmail. When she tried to confront him, he posted her photos online. Consequently, the girl executed herself. Since their homes were infested with bugs, they sat in the cafe. Before saying anything, they unplugged their phone's SIM card so Vivek couldn't hear them and only observed them. Vivek is always one step ahead of them. He fixed the Wi-Fi at that cafe long ago, so he hacked the network, entered someone's phone nearby, activated the microphone, and listened to their entire strategy. According to Sam's plan, she will book a room in a hotel and install the spy cameras before calling him. She will push him to confess once he arrives. Meanwhile, Rohan will be filming confessions from the parking lot in the van. She called as planned, and he accepted the offer. That night, when he was about to leave, Granny threatened to inform his father of whatever was happening if he didn't tell her the truth. "Dear Granny, you should be careful before threatening a psycho." Before meeting her, he surprised Rohan at the parking lot and poisoned him by throwing a dart at him. He then meets her and informs her about Rohan's predicament. Vivek cautions her that he will die if the antidote is not administered to Rohan within 4 hours. Sameera has no choice but to comply, and he brings her to his den. Once they arrive at the petrol station, Sam realizes Granny is no more. Vivek cheerfully stated that Granny was snooping around like you, sweetheart. Sam reminds him that he is powerless to harm her because the hotel's CCTV cameras have captured his visit and her departure with him. Sam further says that if she makes it out alive, she will notify the police, so it's a win-win situation for her. Upon hearing this, he swiftly changes the CCTV footage's timing and alters the section where he arrives and departs the hotel with her. She strikes him in the head as he tries to take advantage of her. She knocks the chair over by tumbling to the ground and frees herself before he can react. She beats him until he passes away with an iron rod. She then runs over to Rohan to give him the antidote in an effort to save his life. The police later investigated her since she filed a complaint against Vivek a few days ago, making her a suspect in Vivek's murder. She admitted that Vivek was blackmailing her and agreed to meet with him in the hotel. She waited in the hotel till the next morning, but he did not appear. Police eventually let her go because of an airtight alibi. So that was Hacked. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and turn on the notification so you won't miss the next recap. Until then, cheers.